No One Dies Alone companions come alongside a patient in our hospital who is dying, who's in the last phases of their life, and who happens to be all alone for many different reasons. And they provide a compassionate presence to that person for however many hours and days and sometimes weeks it takes for them to make their journey on to the next place. So No One Dies Alone, to me, embodies kind of what the Little Company of Mary Sisters are about. It represents that company of people who stood vigil with Jesus as Jesus himself was dying on the cross. And in the same way, the No One Dies Alone volunteers accompany and sit vigil with folks who are dying in heart hospital who don't have anyone else to be with them. One of the things that the volunteers so appreciate about the process of sitting with the patient is while they're sitting with the patient, they make an entry in a journal that we keep. That entry, they're able to record their thoughts, their feelings, things they noticed about the patient while they were with them. The next volunteer that comes can read that journal then and benefit and know better how to care for the patient.
I read through this journal and I realized how great of a tool this would be. Family and friends can see through our eyes how the patient is being cared for, their loved one, and how many people really do love her. When I arrived, Mr. M was sleeping so soundly, he woke up around 9:30 to the good news that his son would be visiting today. When I got ready to leave him and went to thank him and say goodbye, he thanked me and began to cry. I held his hand and I stroked his forehead until he fell asleep.
Arrived at 2:50 p.m. Mrs. G passed away at 3 p.m. God has welcomed home another soul. God make her whole in your glorious kingdom. Mr. J was having a hard time when I arrived due to recently being extubated. I read to him from the Bible for an hour, and then while I was reading, he quietly passed away. God bless him on his journey. I found Mr. H to be a very friendly man. He has a good heart. He is kind to everyone who enters his room and always says thank you. God bless and protect you, Mr. H. You are a kind man, and it's been wonderful sharing time with you.
No One Dies Alone obviously is a beautiful and compassionate ministry for the actual patient who's in the bed, who's alone, who's vulnerable, and at the end of their life. But the other folks really that this ministry serves are the bedside staff, the nurses, the physicians, the EVS folks that come in and out of the room, and who might day after day see this person dying all alone. And it breaks their hearts.
I think that this is such a special program. I think it fits with our mission more than almost anything that I think we can do, at least in my department. And I think the idea of caring and dying with dignity affects all of us. We all have that feeling that we want to be there and be able to help.
First off, I'm here because of the core values in our mission here at Providence, and especially here at Little Company of Mary Torrance. All of my staff being frontline, we have the privilege of easing the way for all of our patients as they arrive, no matter what entry point they use. And that's important to me because I want to make a difference not only in their life, but in my staff's life as well. Being a prior clinician, I had the experience of being a part of patients' deaths as well as some very close family members. And I can't think of a better way that I can continue to give to the patients and to ease their way than to be a NODA volunteer and ease their way as they're going on a different journey.
All of the folks who take care of the patients see our No One Dies Alone volunteers sitting with the patient. It comforts them too. So No One Dies Alone is a team effort. It takes the contributions of the volunteer department, mission, spiritual care, palliative care, and our nursing educators. All of those teams coming together to create this ministry.
I think when you're there with another human being and they are going through a journey and you're not afraid to touch who they are, you know, in their time of need. They have a time of need. And many times we're afraid to speak of it. We're afraid to say anything about it. We're afraid to walk into it. And that's when they need us the most.
So people who are dying tell us that their two main fears are that they would die in pain or that they would die alone. We hope and trust that neither of those things would happen in our facility. We provide the best possible pain management available, and with No One Dies Alone, we provide the best possible human, compassionate presence that we possibly can to ease the way of those who are dying in our facility.